Elle Nightingale once said, the only person who can be considered a failure is that person who tries to succeed at nothing. And when I heard this, it reminded me of how hard we are on ourselves when it comes to us achieving goals. Whenever we do not achieve a goal that we have set, we tend to feel like we are failures. And him saying this kind of turned everything for me and also just reassured me that for the fact that you have sat down and set a destination, for the fact that you have sat down and said, these are the things that I want to work on, you have already succeeded the majority of people. Some people don't even know what they are working on, and they put no effort in actually knowing, in actually setting the destination of where they're going. They tend to just go about life on a day-to-day basis, going with the flow. And so for the fact that we are able to sit down, for the fact that you, as you're watching this video, you sit down and you set your goals, even if you don't achieve them or you achieve them, but for the fact that you have set a destination, you've already succeeded than most people. So I'm going to repeat the quote again. He says, the only person who can be considered a failure is that person who aims to succeed at nothing. Now, with that being said, let me introduce myself. My name is Jen Ngumalo. If you're new here, I would love for you to join us by clicking that red subscribe button on the bottom. And also don't forget to smash that like button because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. And so let us get to the point of this video. Today, we're going to be talking about goal setting in terms of how do you go about setting goals in a way that you can be able to work towards them or basically achieve them. And I just want to create this video so that it kind of helps you guys to guide you when you're creating your goals. I'm going to be sharing with you the strategy that I use when it comes to goal setting. Now, I've refined this over years with just learning. As I'm learning, I refine. Like when I was listening to it's EARL. So RL, yeah. Elle Nightingale. I actually went back and I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. And I refined the way that I go about goal setting, and I'm going to be using that as I'm planning for 2024. The first thing that we need to look at is understanding the importance of goal setting. Why is it important? That if you do not set goals, what are you doing for yourself? What are you setting yourself up for? You are literally setting yourself up for failure. If you do not set goals, you are setting yourself up for failure. And normally we say that if you set goals and you don't achieve them, then you're setting yourself up for failure. No, that's actually the wrong way of looking about it. For the fact that you set down and set goals, you are setting yourself up for success. You are desiring success in a specific part of your life. So that on its own, you have succeeded than most people. And so if you do not set goals, you don't set a destination, you just decide to get in the car, you are setting yourself up for success, for failure, because where you're going, you don't know. Let's make an example with a destination. Let's say you've decided that you're going home in Eastern Cape and you stay here in Gauteng. Eastern Cape is your destination. That is where you are heading. So when you then set goals, what it does is it helps you to be your navigation as you are heading to Eastern Cape. What happens is when you start driving to Eastern Cape, you do not see your destination. Yes, you have set it in your mind that I'm going to Eastern Cape, but you do not see Eastern Cape. You will only see Eastern Cape as you are getting closer to it. But so long as you are where you are, you will not see Eastern Cape. And as you are starting in your journey, you will not see it. And so the navigation to Eastern Cape is very important. And so goal setting is that navigation that helps you to know that you are on path. Like when we are driving down, when you are driving to your hometown, when you're driving from Gauteng to Eastern Cape, on the road there are boards that will tell you that there's how many kilometers left to this part. And then as you're getting closer, it tells you how many kilometers are left. But also when you put in your GPS and you say you want to go to Eastern Cape in this destination, what it will do is it will calculate for you how long it will take, as well as show you the route. And the only thing you have to do is follow the route. And so same thing with goal setting. What you're doing is you have set a destination in your mind and said, this is what I want to work on. And then what you then do now, you have to get in the car and start driving. But do know that as you are driving, you are not going to see your destination. Your destination is not going to be clear to you. It's not even going to be visible at all. And so you have to keep following the navigation so that you stay on path, so that you can be able to reach Eastern Cape. And the closer you become to Eastern Cape, then that's where you start feeling like you are very close to your destination. And so the same thing with your life as well. You want to set a destination. You want to set a destination, and then you set up goals that will allow you to work towards that destination. Because if you do not have a destination and then you set goals, that can lead you anywhere. Which brings me to the next point, which I recently learned, that when you're setting goals, set one big goal. One big goal, because how he says Nightingale, the way that he says it, he says you can only be in one place at a time. You can't be in Gauteng and be in KZN at the same time. You can't be in PE but also be in Western Cape at the same time. You have to choose one destination, because you can't split yourself. And the same thing that we do with that, the same thing that we must do with our goals is we must choose one destination to work on at a time. Once we have reached that destination, then you can set another destination. But so long as you haven't reached that destination, you can't be saying you have many destinations at the same time. So, which got me thinking, okay, then if that is the case, how do I then go about goal setting? Because I may have these goals on my finances, I may have these goals on my personal end, I may have these goals on my maybe career. And it made me realize that, okay, when you set an overarching goal or one goal, it must be your ideal life. What are you working on? Where do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? So you look at your life, you sit and you say, okay, this is something that I want to work on. So what then came to my mind is, it is important to then ask the right questions so that you can arrive to the conclusion of what you want your life to look like. On one of my videos that I talk about on preparing for 2024, of where I shared the workbook that will allow you to plan for the next year, it talks about the current life and desired life. This is where you sit down and you write what your current life looks like and what you desire your life to look like. From your desired life, you can quickly tell that what do you want your life to look like? And then from there, you choose one overarching thing that you can say, I'm going to be working towards. So I'm going to make an example with me. My main goal is to achieve financial freedom of my time, so that I can get to a point whereby I decide to go to work in my 9-to-5 job because I want to and not because I need the money. When I look at financial freedom, for me, it means freedom of time and freedom of knowing that I've got enough resources. I choose to go to work because I want to. That is my big goal. That is my one destination. That is where I'm heading. However, that alone is not going to help me to achieve my goals, because it is big. It is it's not broad, but it is big. And for me to be able to say, it's like the example that I made, that you say you want to go to Eastern Cape. That is a big goal that needs you to put in other things that can allow you to then work towards this big goal, because from Gauteng to Eastern Cape, it's a long distance, and you need things that will keep you accountable along the way as checkpoints, so that you know that you are actually still on path. And so for me, as I said, my goal is financial freedom, so that I can have freedom of my time, and I can choose what I want to do with my time without the pressure of the financial resources, knowing that I've got more than enough. That is for me financial freedom. When you set your big goal, your main goal, it cannot be a short-term goal, because if it's a short-term goal, then it won't be practical. A big goal that you can say, this is something that I'm working on, has to be a long-term goal, because if it's that big, it's not something that you can work on within a year. I cannot achieve financial freedom in a year. Okay, let me not say I cannot. Achieving financial freedom in a year can be very difficult, and that means that a lot of things have to change in my life in order to make way for that, and some of those changes are not practical in the conditions that we're living in. So maybe the question that you might be having right now is, okay, then if I'm just having this one big goal that I'm working on, then what am I working on each and every year? Let us get to the next point. The next point now is to set up checkpoints. Your checkpoints are your mini goals that you're going to be setting up each and every year that will allow you to work towards the big goal. And I'm calling them checkpoints because when I started, I made an example with driving towards a destination. When you're driving towards a destination, as I said, you will find boards along the road that will tell you how many kilometers are left before you get to that destination. As you are getting closer, the kilometers get smaller and smaller. These are checkpoints. checkpoints. As you are driving, these are checkpoints that tell you that you are on path. How close are you? And so the mini goals that you're setting up each and every year have to be directed towards working this big goal. And so then the question then becomes, if I'm going to be having personal goals, I'm going to be having financial goals, and I'm going to be having this, then how do I then put it all together in a way that it allows me to work towards this overarching goal? Normally, when you look at the overarching goal, as I said, for me, when I say financial freedom, freedom of my time, as well as choosing how I spend my time or where I put my time and my effort, that is an overarching goal, and it is very much financially related. However, it impacts on my personal life, it impacts on my career, it also impacts on my finances. And so already I've got categories that I can then go down and break those checkpoints into, so that I am using my career as a fuel. I'm using my career and creating checkpoints in my career journey that can allow me to see how close am I getting to my main goal. I can also create checkpoints in my personal life that I can use as an indication of how close am I getting towards my goal. I can also set checkpoints in my financial goals to see if I am working towards these goals. And so then when you're sitting down and you're creating goals, then you're asking yourself, what are things that I need to do in order for me to work towards this? When I learned this about goal setting, I can tell you this, my mind was just like, because it just made it so different, and in a way that it is very practical. So when they talk about SMART goals, you ask yourself, okay, SMART, realistic, measurable, and what you never really know how to apply that. But when you look at the system of saying you set one destination and then you create checkpoints that will allow you to see how close you are towards that one destination, then you can start seeing that, oh, okay, SMART, this SMART principle thing, then this is how it applies. Ne? So now let's break down the checkpoints for my big goal so that you can see on the practical side how I go about this. Okay, so maybe the first thing that I can say I want to do is to save 50% of my income and spend 50%. That can be a goal that I say these are short-term goals. That in a year, I'm going to work on minimizing my expenses to an extent whereby I keep 50% of my income and I spend only 50%. And then I can say, okay, I want to save towards this target by the end of 2024. So maybe I can say I want to save 20,000 by the end of 2024. That is another checkpoint that you can use as an indication of how you are working towards these goals. Maybe another checkpoint that I can put as my goal is I want to pay off debt. So maybe I can identify debts. I can identify debts within my budget or within my finances that I want to get rid of, because I know that if I can get rid of those debts, then it will allow me to keep most of my money so that I can work towards this. Another checkpoint when it comes to the career side would be getting a promotion that will pay you more money. Then you can use that increase to either attack the debts that you have, or if you do not have that much debt, you can then use that money to put towards your savings and investments, especially in investments that can allow your money to get more babies, and the longer you keep it there, then it can multiply. So those are things that you can be doing in order for you. Those are things that I'm just thinking about when I'm thinking of financial freedom, that okay, those are things that I might want to be doing, or I might want to set as checkpoints. And maybe another goal, let's look at for me, for social media, having my business for my business side or my brand, I can then say maybe another checkpoint, which is a mini goal, would be to grow my social media so that I can have more exposure to brands. And the more exposure to brands that I have, then the more collaborations that I can make, which then can allow me to bring in more income. If I can bring in more income into my life, then I can have more money that I can channel towards investments, or that I can channel towards paying debt. And so you see already there, we are looking at your financial goals, we're looking at your career goals, we're looking at your personal goals, or we're looking at your personal goals, or you can say business goals if you decide that you're going to go the route of having maybe a business or growing a brand. You can do that, or you can just put it under your personal goals, that because social media is very personal, and so that can be a category under your personal goals. So I hope that you guys are understanding what I'm putting down. What I'm saying here is you set a big goal. So your overarching goal is you say, what do I want my life to look like? Like, for instance, someone can say, I want to have a sense of abundance. Even though abundance is not something that is tangible that you can say you reach, but that can be an overarching goal that you can say, I'm working towards financial abundance, whereby I have more than enough. I do not have a sense of lack. I know that my basket is full, pressed down, shaken down, and flowing. That is my desire. That is my desired life, financial abundance. And then you sit down and you say, okay, if my destination is financial abundance, what are things that I need to set? What are goals that I need to set, or checkpoints that I need to set in order for me to see if I am working closer to reaching financial abundance in my life? And then you set those goals. And even in those goals, you make sure that in other categories, not just in your financial life, but also personally, as well as your career goals, that you are clear about what are things that you need to do on your personal side to help you to reach this destination. What are things that you need to set on your career side that can help you to reach this destination? What are things that you need to set on your financial category in order for you to work towards that destination? So every category of your goal setting must help you, or must speak towards this main goal. It mustn't be that you have this one main goal, but then when you look at your personal goals, it says the opposite. And I did this on my this year in 2023 when I was setting my goals, and that is because I had not understood this. I just learned this about having one destination, because you can only be at one place at a time, and then breaking your goals down. And so, beginning of the year when I set my goals, I didn't have one destination. I just had goals. And then my financial goals were saying one thing, my personal goals were saying another thing, my career goals were saying another thing. And when you look at all of them, they were not speaking to each other, and they were not helping me to work towards, one common thing. And that is why I found it very hard for me to continue with some of those goals, especially when it comes to my personal goals, because it was not speaking to anything, and it was not fitting the life that I had. It was not fitting anyway. And it was easy for me to let go of that. And so you want to make sure that each and every component or each and every category speaks to one goal, so that it is easier for you to keep working towards these things, because you can see how they are working towards that one thing. Let me change my battery because it is finishing here. Now let us break these goals down even further, because when it comes to goal setting, I now know that it's not a thing that you must rush. Do not rush your goal setting. Actually take time and do this so that you are fully aware of what you want to work towards. So further on, break down your goals now into bite-sized pieces. Now, for those who bought my journal, you realize that on the first few spreads, there is a thing called goals grid. And I know that most people do not know about this, but I learned about this beginning of 2023 or 2022, end of the year. And then I definitely implemented when I set my goals beginning of 2023. And it's called a goals grid. What it does is it allows you to break your goals down into bite-sized pieces and things that you can measure. As I said, sometimes when you look at this thing where they say your goals must be smart, must be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Now, that's the part whereby we're talking about the SMART. We're breaking down this whole thing of SMART. And I don't want you to think a lot about SMART, because it can be very overwhelming. But when it comes to the goals grid, it's very simple. And I made an example on the journal that can allow you to see how you go about breaking these things down. And then when you're doing your goals, you can just refer on the example of how I did it and how you can do yours as well. So when we're breaking goals down, what we're doing here is we're creating bite-sized pieces that we can use as a measure how close we are to achieving our our main goals. So you've got a main goal, you've got mini goals, which are your checkpoints. But then now what we are doing is we are breaking the checkpoints. So how you go about breaking this, we break it down from 1 month to say, in 1 month, this is what I need to do in order for me to say that I'm working towards my goal. And then you say 3 months. In 3 months, this is what I must have achieved in order for me to say that I am working towards, I am still in the journey of working towards my main destination. And then you also break it down into 6 months to say, in 6 months, this is what I must have achieved in order for me to say that I am still in the right path of working towards my main goal. And then we say 12 months. Your 12 months would be your checkpoints on its own to say, if you said that, for example, I want to save 20,000 by end of 2024, that is 12 months. So then you say 12 months, I must have saved and invested 24,000. And then you can actually see by end of, you can then, when you are reviewing, then you can go back and say, it is the end of 12 months. How much was I able to save? Was I able to reach my target, which is 20,000? If not, how much did I save? There. And then on the 6 months, what you do is, so each and every month, you must save 670, let's just say, you must save 1,670 each month for you to say that, okay, I am working towards this goal. So you must strive to make sure that each and every month you are saving this. And then you say 1,670 times 3. How much money must you save by 3 months? By end of 3 months, you must save 5,010 rands. That is how much you must save. And then we come back and you say 1,670 times 6 months now. You must, by end of 6 months, you must have saved 10,020 rands. And then all in all, by the end of 12 months, after 6 months, because then after 6 months we go to 12 months, you must have saved 20,000. And so you see now it becomes easier for you to say that each and every month when I'm doing my goal setting, what am I working on? Okay, my main goal is to work towards 20,000. When I broke it down on my goals grid, it said that each and every month I must save 1,670. And then every time you are setting your monthly goals, you just take that 1,670 and you say, I need to make sure that I save 1,670 this month. That's how you go about it. And then let's say, for instance, you say you want to get a promotion in order for you to reach this. And so what you then do is you say, okay, if I want to get a promotion, what are things that I need to do in order for me to actually get a promotion? And so you start saying, okay, I need to fix my CV. I need to be clear about the positions that I want. I need to start applying, and then I need to go for interviews. And then you set it down and you say, okay, by end of 12 months, I want to have gotten a promotion. So that would be your 12-month check mark. And then you say, in 6 months, I would like to have received an interview. And then you say, in maybe 3 months, I want to actually work on my CV. I want to put myself out there and start applying. Also, and then we come down to the month now. You say, okay, in a month, that means that I need to put out CVs. Every week when I see posts, I need to be putting out CVs. So these become your checkpoints. And then when you set your monthly goals, you just say, okay, I want to put four applications each and every month, or I want to put 5 applications each and every month. And then you go back every time you're doing your monthly goals, you just take that, you put it on your monthly goals. And then that becomes your checkpoint to say, okay, how many applications did I put out this month? If you didn't put out any applications, then you can say, oh, then how am I expecting that I'm gonna achieve this goal if I am not putting out applications? That means that next month I need to be more intentional with putting out applications so that I can actually put myself out there and then eventually I will get an opportunity to get an interview. But if I'm not putting out applications, but then I'm expecting to get a promotion, how is that supposed to happen? So you see, you are breaking your goals down into bite-sized pieces that you can actually measure to say, in 3 months, this is what I should have achieved. In 6 months, this is what I should have achieved. This is what I should have done. Let's not even look at achieved. In 3 months, this is what I should have done. In 6 months, this is what I should have done. In 12 months, this is what I should have done, so that I can see how close I am to reaching my financial freedom, or to me reaching the life of abundance. And so this is how you go about breaking down your goals. And I would really advise you to try this system, especially as we are going in 2024. Do not just sit down and set random goals, because when you set random goals, they would lead you everywhere and anywhere. They will not lead you in a life that you desire. So if you are clear about the life that you want for yourself, and you know that these are things that this is something that you want to achieve, maybe someone can say, my goal is to be debt free. That would be your one goal. That is your one destination, to be debt free. And then you then set up checkpoints, your mini goals, that will allow you to work towards this one goal, which is being debt free. And then you set your checkpoints, and then once you've set your checkpoints, break your checkpoints even further now to say, in 6 months, this is what I should have done. In 3 months, this is what I should have done. In 1 month, this is what I should have done. And you use these as a measure that you can always go back into and check your progress. So this is how this I have found that it is a most effective way of doing goal setting, in a way that it is very practical, and it is not just vague and you don't even know where to start. And that is why most people get discouraged along the way, because their goals are so big that they are not narrowed down. There's nothing wrong with setting big goals, but you still have to come and break them down to a point whereby they are bite-sized pieces that are clear for you, what you need to do in order for you to work towards those things. So use this video to go back when you're setting your goals, to go back and just reflect on what are things that you need to do in order for you to create these goals or to set these goals. And then you just use the journal to be your guide on how you go about breaking this. But I would really say, firstly, get a piece of paper, sit down with that piece of paper and write out everything, brainstorm, write everything, make sure that everything is making sense. Then before you go and put it on the journal, and then once you put it on a journal, you know that, okay, I am clear about this, I'm happy with this, and this is what I want to work on. So all in all, that is what I wanted to share with you guys. I really hope that this video is going to be useful for many of you guys as we are planning for 2024, as we are setting our goals. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one. Please take care and stay safe, and I wish you all the success as you're setting your goals, as you're planning for 2024, as you're approaching 2024, that the things that you've set, the things that you've put down in paper, pray on it as well. Pray that it comes true, that it comes forth. Just make sure that you are very clear about what you're asking, because if you are very vague, even God cannot help you with that. So with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Please take care and stay safe. Bye.